Start with DynamoDB first, then we will create Lambda and API gateway. Head over to AWS Console and search DynamoDB. Go to tables and create new table. So DynamoDB is a NoSQL database from AWS. It's fully managed, and we need to pass table name. So let's call coffee shop, and then partition key. So partition key is like primary key. For us, it will be coffee ID. So each coffee will have unique identifiable coffee ID, and it will be string. Short key we don't need. Everything else leave default and create table. Once table is created, click on it and click on explore items, then create item. So let's go and add some random coffee here. Let's add coffee price, coffee availability, and coffee name also. So string name, price, this price will be number, and name, let's call it menu coffee, available, and create item. So now we have one dummy item. When we will call DynamoDB, we will get some value. So it will help us to understand that we are able to connect to DynamoDB. That's why we created it here. Coming to architecture diagram, we have DynamoDB table ready. Now this Lambda function will talk to DynamoDB with the help of IAM role that will be attached to them. So let's go and create one IAM role, and we will use same IAM role for all Lambda functions. However, it is also possible that for get create one role, for create one role, and assign only necessary permission to each function. That way also it can be done. But for now, let's create a generic role as here we specify permissions. So I will add Lambda basic execution role. This one. And here we can see that this policy allows to create CloudWatch logs. Next, give it name as coffee shop role. So now we have role with necessary permission to create CloudWatch logs, but we need to add more permissions so that it can talk to DynamoDB. So right now we have added AWS managed policy. Now we will create one inline policy which is available only for this IAM role. And here service is Lambda. Okay, no, I mean service is DynamoDB. Let's delete it and select again. Service is DynamoDB, and what action we want? We want get, put, update, delete, and scan table. So these are the permissions which we want. Let's select. Let's search and then select them. So scan, get item, put item, then delete and update. And we want a specific table, means we are adding these permissions for this particular table. So let's copy ARN of coffee shop table and use it here. Policy name, let's call it DynamoDB. Now if I expand, here we have these 5 actions allowed for this DynamoDB table and CloudWatch role, CloudWatch policies. Now we are ready to create Lambda functions. So I will open Lambda and create function. So Lambda is function as a service from AWS. It is triggered based on some events. Event can be AWS event like some file is uploaded to S3 bucket, or it can even be API event that Lambda can be invoked by some API call. So in our case, API gateway will invoke Lambda function. First of all, we will create Lambda function to get items from DynamoDB table. So let's call it get coffee, and runtime will be Node.js 22, which is latest. Architecture, let's choose ARM64 because it uses Graviton instances in the background and it gives more value for money. Coming to permission, no need to select a new role, create new role. We can use existing role, and its role name is coffee shop role, which we just created. Everything else we can leave default and create function. So this is default code of Lambda function, where it just returns hello from Lambda. And if we see the folder structure, here we have index.yamjs, and its yamjs file means it's using ECMAScript, means to import dependencies it will use import instead of require. And in index.yamjs we can see that we have this handler function. So if I scroll down, and in handler configuration we can see that default handler is index.handler, means in index file call handler function. So if we rename our function to something else like get coffee, we must modify this to index.getCoffee. Now let's run this default Lambda function. So I will click on test and create one dummy test with without any event. So whatever value I pass it will come as event. I will leave it empty object and run the test. So here we can see that Lambda function is running properly, and we are able to see the hello from Lambda. Now let's connect this Lambda function to our DynamoDB table, and for that we will use DynamoDB SDK, DynamoDB JavaScript SDK. But to use JavaScript SDK, we can't just import libraries here, because for that we need to install those dependencies and create node modules folder, which is not possible here. What we can do, we can create node modules folder in VS Code and then create zip file and upload as zip in this Lambda function. So let's head over to Visual Studio and create one folder named Lambda, and then again one more folder inside that. Let's call it Git. Then navigate to that folder. So Lambda and then Git. There we will initialize npm. Everything I will leave default, and then in package.json, since we are going to use ECMAScript, there are two ways. Either we can create a new file as index.yamjs, or here also we can add type as module. So one of these we can do, and that would be sufficient. One more thing, for all functions, code is available both in CommonJS and ECMAScript. So if you want to use CommonJS, there is a folder called CommonJS, and everything is available as CommonJS. But for the sake of this tutorial, we will use ECMAScript. Now let's go to Google and search DynamoDB AWS SDK version 3, and here we are seeing two links. One is for DynamoDB client and one is for this documentation. And here, if we scroll down, we will see code for get item. Just copy it and paste here. Another link we will see in some time what is use of that. For now, let's start editing here. So first we need to install these dependencies. I will do npm I client DynamoDB and Lib-DynamoDB. After that, till it's installing dependencies, let's correct our table name. So for us, it's coffee shop. And key, we need to pass our partition key. So in our case, partition key is coffee ID. And our ID is the item which we created. So for that, we need ID. So ID is C123. And here, just for sake of testing, to make sure that Lambda function is indeed able to connect to DynamoDB, we are hard coding things here, but in actual API calls, we will take this value from event. So event will come here. I guess this is sufficient. I will save it, and now we need to create zip file. So make sure to install zip utility and then run zip -r and name of the file, name of zip file, whatever you want to create. So get.zip I will create, and then for this folder I want all files. It will zip node modules and index.yamjs and package.json. Now zip is ready. Let's go to Lambda function and upload our zip file and then upload it. Let's test it, and it will fail first time because I forgot to update the handler. It's calling index.handler, but it should call index.getCoffee. Okay, in this case index.main. Edit. Let's rename it to getCoffee only. I will update here as well. So export const index getCoffee, and I will update here also because dependencies are already uploaded, and until I do not need any dependency, I can just keep updating here. But make sure to keep VS Code and this editor in sync. Deploy and then test. This time I got 200 response from DynamoDB, and I am able to see the coffee which I added. Now let's go back to code, and here you might be wondering why we are importing two DynamoDB libraries. So there are two libraries. One is client DynamoDB and another is Lib-DynamoDB. This client DynamoDB is low level SDK, and this one is high level. And why we are not using client DynamoDB here is that it expects both input to the functions of library and outputs both are in DynamoDB JSON format, and then we need to utilize one extra library, DynamoDB utils, to marshal and unmarshal the input and output. So let's see how it is done in client DynamoDB. So we will do same get command, but in client DynamoDB. So this is the documentation for client DynamoDB. And to get item, here we have get item command, and it works something like this. So whatever value we pass, we need to specify what is the format of it. So if we see our code, if we use get item command from client DynamoDB library, then we have to specify coffee ID will be string, and then we have to pass its value. So for example, if I go to Lambda functions get, and here I have one example. I will copy it and paste it here. So yeah, it will look something like this. We can import get item command from client DynamoDB library, and coffee ID will be passed like this. But when we will pass partition key, we have to specify that it's a string, and coffee ID will be C123. Since library is already installed, we can directly make change here and deploy it. Now run test. Access denied. Get coffee is not authorized to perform. Okay, I forgot to edit table name. Let's run again. Looks like it's not deployed properly. Now let's run again. Yeah. So if we see output here, output is also a bit different as compared to last time. Here we can see that for each attribute, we are also getting its type. So to convert this DynamoDB JSON format to normal JSON, we have to use Dynamo utils library, which provides two functions, marshal and unmarshal, like something like this. So to avoid all this, we are sticking with functions from Lib-DynamoDB because it makes our life easier by eliminating need of using marshal and unmarshal. We will use client DynamoDB just to import this DynamoDB client and construct talk client. So throughout the tutorial, we will use get scan, put scan, etc. from Lib-DynamoDB, and from client DynamoDB, we will only import DynamoDB client to construct our DynamoDB client. Now let's make some necessary changes to make this function ready for get API and then connect to API gateway. So what we want is that if someone requests /coffee route, then return list of all coffees. However, if someone asks /coffee C123, then give detail of only C123 coffee. So this will be coffee ID like this. And for getting detail of coffee ID, we are using get command. For getting all coffee, we will use scan command. So let's import scan command as well. And then I will copy paste code from GitHub, and then we will just see it line by line. Till here it will remain same. We have table name. So table name, either we will provide an environment variable of lambda, or let's put correct name here as well. So coffee shop, and this is create response function. We will come to it later. In get coffee function, we are reading path parameter from event. So when we connect Lambda function to API gateway, this path parameter is available, and from path parameter we can take coffee ID, and if coffee ID is available, then we will use get command, else we will use scan command. In either case, we will call DynamoDB and return the response. For returning both 200 and 500 response, we will use create response function, and it's just putting things in proper way, like status code, adding header, and stringifying JSON to put in the body. Let's save and upload it. Again, I will run zip command, and then go back to DynamoDB, and I will go back to Lambda and upload it. Okay, now let's open API gateway. and create HTTP API gateway. So create API, HTTP API, and name, let's give it coffee shop. Everything I will leave default for now. No need to add anything. Stays will be default and it will auto deploy. So if we make some change, it will auto deploy without manually deploying. Routes. So let's create first route as get route and it's slash coffee. Another route that we want is slash coffee slash coffee ID, and this ID will go to path parameters. Okay, one thing I made here, it should be get call, not any. Now for both these two routes, we need to create one integration and attach it. Go to manage integration and create integration. Integration is Lambda function. Select region and select Lambda function. So it's get coffee function. Now this is the important step. Make sure to keep this grant API permission to invoke your Lambda function as enabled. What it will do in my Lambda function, if I go to configuration and then permissions and then resource based policy statement. So by enabling this radio button, we will make sure that API gateway have permission to invoke the Lambda function. Like we made sure that Lambda function can invoke DynamoDB with the help of IAM role. Same thing here we are doing, but with the help of resource policy of Lambda. So we will see how it will work. I will create. I have to choose one route. So let's choose coffee route. And changes are done. Now if I refresh here, I can see new resource based policy is here and it just allowed that particular API gateway to use our Lambda function. Now let's go to API and here I can see my URL for default stage. Open it. Default root URL will say not found, but if I enter slash coffee, I should see all coffees from my Lambda function, from my DynamoDB. I will change it to raw data and we are able to see. Now let's suppose if I pass here C123, then it will not give anything. For that we need to go routes and here also we need to attach same integration or same Lambda function, attach integration and get coffee integration. Same integration I can attach here also because same Lambda function we want to call. Now if I hit enter, here I'm getting detail for that particular coffee only. So this is for get function or get route. Now let's go and create post route or create coffee route. So for that I will create function name create coffee and role I will select same role which we created, coffee shop role. Create function. In handler, edit and make it index dot create coffee. Make sure to copy it and save. Now let's go back to our VS Code and create new folder and the Lambda folder and call it post. Inside post, again we need to do npm init. So npm init, everything I will enter default and then create index.mjs. Also let's install Lambda dependencies. So copy paste this and now let's go back to documentation. Here I will go to put item, and input item, I will copy it, paste it here. So similar to get item, input item, we are again importing DynamoDB client from client DynamoDB, and put command from Lib-DynamoDB. And we have to pass table name and what item we are at. I will copy code from GitHub for listing now and paste it here. And this is the code. Here also we are creating DynamoDB client, and then we are taking body from event. In body, we will have data regarding coffee, and from that body, we are extracting coffee ID, name, price, and availability. And then I'm logging it for checking in CloudWatch. There was some error, so I added it. After that, if one of them is missing, then we will return that same attribute is missing. And if everything is available, then we will use put command and pass table name and item. Also, we will pass conditional expression that create this attribute or create this coffee if this coffee ID already do not exist. And then if it created successfully, return it, else return the error. So let's zip it. And upload it. Now go to API gateway and routes, create new route. It should be post route, and data should be posted to /coffee route, and create it. Now for post route also we need to create one integration. So select post route. Either we create integration from here, or from here also we can attach integration and then create and attach integration. Lambda function. This time it will be create Lambda function. Make sure to keep it enabled and create it. Now we have Lambda function uploaded and route created. Let's open Postman and test the route. Here I will copy from here to here, paste it here, and for body, make it raw and paste coffee ID, name, price, and availability. This time let's pass ID as something. Let's call C4567 and change this to post and send. Here we got item created successfully and status code as 200. And from our Lambda function, status code is 201. This response is from DynamoDB. Now if I again try to create same coffee, then it will give me some error. It says item already exists because we have added conditional expression as attribute should not exist. So now both get and create are done. Let's create another function for update. Let's call it update coffee. Select R and role for function. Change handler to index.update coffee and come back to VS Code, create update folder and initialize npm here, and then just enter. Also install dependencies. Now you might be wondering that every time for each folder we are installing same dependencies. So we will see how we can avoid it using Lambda layer. But first let's create all function. So index.js, and again go to documentation, and here we have syntax for update item, and here we have to pass table name, key for which we want to update, means coffee ID for us, and then this time we have to pass update expression, means what items or what attributes we want to update for that item, and return value all new means it will return all values as updated. So if earlier coffee name was hot and then we made it cold, then return value will be cold. Let's copy the code for this function and go through it to understand. So similar to other functions, here also we are importing document DynamoDB library and using it. Let's call this table as coffee shop, and in update function we are reading path parameter, and from path parameter we are reading ID. So it will be like /coffee/coffee ID for which coffee we want to update, and if that coffee itself is not passed, then we will return 400 error. If coffee ID is available, then we will read the body to check name, price, and availability, and either one value can be updated or any combination can be updated, means at least one value must be passed. It's not necessary to update all at once. If you want, you can update only price and do not touch these two. So if nothing is updated, then again return 400. However, if there is at least one value which is available in body, then we will use this expression. This will dynamically create update expression based on what values are available. So what I can do, I can create one function like text.js to show it what exactly we are doing in update expression. We have something like this. We will have data from our application, React application or Postman, and then we are reading name, price, and availability from data, and then we are constructing this update expression. So if I run this, so if everything is coming from front end or Postman, then update expression will be like this: update expression set name, price, update. Name, price, and available. We want to update all three. However, suppose situation where only these two are available, then our update expression will become something like this. See, available is removed here, only name and price are included. Similarly, if there is only one item, let's say only available, then it will just contain that I want to update expression and it should be only available. Now we know what is update expression. Coming to construction of command, we are passing table name, our coffee ID which we read from URL, and then in update expression we are passing update expression, and then there is something called expression attribute names. So expression attribute names is used for those attributes which are already reserved by DynamoDB. So its name is reserved keyword, and we can't use it like this. If I do price here, then it will like I can use price here, but I can't use name like this. So for that I need to specify hash name, and then here I need to tell what exactly hash name means. Then also I'm not directly putting it here, I'm putting it inside name, and then so if name is available as part of body, only then this expression attribute will become part of this bigger object, else it will not come here. And then expression attribute values. So here I am conditionally putting all values, like if name is here, then put this. If price is here, then put price inside this object. It's similar to update expression. So in update expression, we were conditionally putting like this. Here also we are putting these objects conditionally. And then return all new. And then condition expression is attribute exist. So if I do not put here, then if coffee id do not exist, then also that coffee id will be created. So this condition expression makes sure that this object is updated only if that particular coffee id exists, else it will not be updated. Let's save it and create zip. Let's upload the zip file. Also, let's create new route. This time it's put route, and it will be slash coffee slash id. Attach integration. Put route, attach integration, create attach lambda, and then update coffee function, invoke permissions, and create. Now let's modify here only. So if I make it get, I will copy it first of all. So here we have two coffee available, and I will edit this one, which is C4567. So what I need to do, I need to pass slash coffee id. So it's 4567, and in body coffee id is not required. So I will remove coffee id, and in name let's call it hot coffee, and change this to put send. It says object does not exist. Let's see again. If I refresh, I guess I passed wrong ID. It's C4567, and looks like here I passed C in small case. Let's, yeah, now it updated, and here it's returning latest value or updated value. So now we are done with get, put, post. Now let's create function for delete also. Similar to last time, select the role and create function. For delete item. So for delete item, we just need to pass the table name and coffee ID. Here in Lambda, I will create delete. Oh, I forgot to update Lambda function handler. It should be delete coffee. Else it will throw error that can't find index.handler. Or let's intentionally keep it wrong in case you forget to edit it. How you can see the logs? Let's see. So I will inside delete, install dependencies, and create index.mjs file. Go to GitHub and copy code from Lambda functions, delete index.mjs and copy paste it here. Again, I'm correcting everywhere because we are not putting in environment variable. And here in delete coffee, we are reading coffee ID. If coffee ID is not present, then return error. If it's present, we are just putting this coffee ID in delete command. Also, this time we are passing condition expression as attribute, means this coffee ID must exist to be deleted, and also it should return what values it deleted. Let's save and upload it. And also let's create route for it. So go to routes, create route. This time it should be delete route under coffee ID. And create it. Attach integration. I guess I selected wrong one. Delete. Attach integration and create integration. Delete coffee function. Create it. Let's go to Postman and change it to delete. Body should be none, and send a command. Here we are seeing message as internal server error. And now we know why we are seeing internal server error, but let's see, in case you see this error for some other function, how to debug it. So you can go to monitor and then you can go to view CloudWatch logs. Since we added permission for CloudWatch logs, this function will create logs here. Also, if you want, you can directly open CloudWatch log and come to log groups. Under log groups, you should be able to see your functions log. So here I'm able to see execution log. If I click it, here it's saying that runtime handler not found, which is index.handler is undefined. So similarly, if you are also facing some problem with any function, you can check in the CloudWatch log. For now, I know what is the issue, so I will correct it. And now if I try to delete it, again I'm seeing internal server error. Let's go and explore why it is saying this. So again, go to CloudWatch, go one step above, refresh it. I can see new log, time is also here. It says can't see delete handler. Okay, I guess I added wrong name. It should be delete coffee and save. Now if I hit it, it should be deleted. Yeah, it got deleted, and also it returned what values it deleted. Now if I go to get route, here we should see only one coffee, which is C123, which we created initially. Now we have all the routes available and all are exposed by API gateway, and these all Lambda functions are able to talk to DynamoDB.